The November 4th fight card is packing some exciting fights, and this may be the most exciting of them all. We have two strong contenders going head-to-head, with godly levels of determination to finish the other. Puerto Rico and Uzbekistan have both put forward their warriors, and the true war between the nations is about to go down. This is Subriel Matias versus Shohjahon Ergashev, going down on the 4th of November. Subriel Matias is on the defensive. Subriel Matias has had a very short amateur stint, lasting barely a year before he started his professional career. He has consistently proven to be a scary opponent in the ring. Relentless pressure has always been his motto, and he used it to craft a winning streak all the way until 2020. His relentless pressure style involves a lot of power punching from unexpected angles, and that too, in a flurry of attacks. His first 5 professional bouts all ended in TKO wins, something that you don't see everywhere. But we're holding back a little. As of October 2023, Matias' boxing record stands at 18. And get this, all 18 of those victories were knockouts. The only upset in that record is a unanimous decision loss to Petros Ananyan, who stopped a clearly out-of-form Matias dead in his tracks with technical precision punching and clever feints. He was determined to avenge his loss, and he set his mind to achieving it with 200% focus and further refinement of his explosive fighting style. To get the chance to fight Ananyan again, he demolished 2 opponents back-to-back, stopping both with his signature victories. And that loss to Ananyan he avenged with flying colors on the 22nd of January 2022. "I wanted to send him to the hospital," said Matias surprisingly. "It's my mentality as a boxer since facing Ananyan in the first fight. He made certain gestures and comments. He tried to show off with me. I didn't like it, and that's why I always wanted that opportunity." The rematch was the stuff of legends, with Petros Ananyan still being every bit the formidable boxer who was able to stop him. The two engaged in a savage back and forth, but it's impossible to counter a Puerto Rican who's determined to put you down no matter what. Everything was sealed when Matias landed a brutal left hook in the final seconds of the 9th round. Though his rival was able to make it to his feet, the referee made the call to stop the fight once and for all. The victory was unquestioned this time. Indeed, he had a lot to prove, as boxing is one of the sports that Puerto Ricans love dearly, which sets quite high standards for any boxer coming out of the island. He explains as such. "That first fight was why many on my island, which I represent with pride, turned their backs on me. But I saw it as another opportunity to vindicate myself. I wanted, like every boxing warrior, to clear up doubts about 23 months of waiting for that rematch. Being able to go the distance with Ananyan and then decisively beat him was the victory he needed to be granted a shot at a world championship title straight off the bat before any regional titles. He got his wish on the 25th of February 2023 when he was matched against Jeremias Ponce to fight for the vacant IBF junior welterweight title. And Jeremias Ponce was down after only 4 rounds, as Matias proved himself to be one of the most capable knockout artists in the entire sport. Ponce sought to challenge him in his own game, as he came out charging powerfully and rushing at Matias to outbox and dominate him. But Matias remained calm, as it was his game after all. In the 4th round came a surprise left that hurt Ponce badly. It was then followed by a flurry of punches that Ponce was unable to defend, and down to the floor he went. Subriel Matias has become a world champion, his dream realized. Right afterwards he said, "I'm on cloud 9 right now," said Matias. "I don't think I've woken up from this dream. Maybe I can tell you how it feels tomorrow, but right now, it's a dream come true." I wanted to work him from the first round on, because I knew he wouldn't have the same power as me as the fight went on. Now that his first defense is coming up, we can expect him to fight tooth and nail to keep it out of Shohjahon Ergashev's hands, Uzbekistan's pride. Shohjahon Ergashev is a mean man and a Uzbek hunk of muscle boasting a 23-fight undefeated record. He is every bit as dominant as Subriel Matias. As far as scoring is concerned, he has 20 scored knockouts. All of his other fights have resulted in unanimous decision victories. Growing up, boxing was the only thing on his mind. My village was very small. When my father introduced me to boxing, it took over. School and the boxing gym. That's how I describe my childhood. Ergashev treated the sport incredibly seriously from the very start. As he grew into his teenage years, the initial enthusiasm for the sport began to develop into a real career option, and it wasn't long before he was representing his beloved homeland as a standout amateur boxer. I competed over 200 times as an amateur, and spent 6 years on the Uzbekistan national team. It was a great time, but I didn't have the chance to go to the World Championships or the Olympic Games in Rio. I was winning the fights, but the opportunity to go to the biggest tournaments never came. I regret that. But the Olympics dream didn't pan out, so it was time to go around punishing others as a professional. It seems there is no uncertainty when you're in the ring with Ergashev. You're going to lose, and you're going to lose hard. And that's where we can't quite figure out why this guy doesn't have more fans. It's all the more impressive when you consider that he started boxing professionally relatively later than average, starting in 2015 when he was 24 years old. Initially fighting from Uzbekistan, he now resides in Detroit and has continued as a professional boxer with the intention of achieving a championship belt. Underscoring his identity as a real prospect is his impressive 87% knockout rate. No prisoners at war. That's my motto, my slogan. I don't want to just win the fight. I want to destroy my opponent. Helping him perfect this craft of destruction is his trainer Shohjahon Stewart, who is the nephew of perhaps the greatest trainer of all, Emanuel Stewart. Shohjahon Stewart is also behind much of Tyson Fury's success. All this combines to give him the menacing nickname, Descendant of Tamerlan. Tamerlan being one of the most formidable and brutal generals in history hailing from modern-day Uzbekistan, just like Ergashev. Either way, this man has been hungry for a championship belt since at least 2018, when he announced, "For the sake of my trainers and team, for the sake of my family, for Uzbekistan, I have to become a champion." However, a bout has always been out of his reach. His last fight was against the Mexican boxer Angel Martin Hernandez, who he knocked out in the 5th round. That was back in August 2022, so it's been a very long time with a lot of room left to work with. 14 full months of preparation to face Subriel Matias and maintain his undefeated streak by claiming the World Championship belt. His dream is within reach, fighters compared. As you might have guessed from our descriptions of each fighter, both work with a very similar style. Not only are both fighters incredibly muscular for their weight, but both of them also have great stamina reserves. Ultimately, such high levels of stamina were allowed them to clinch many of their impressive wins and really put in that extra power behind their strikes. The difference between the two starts are visible when Matias brings out his slick defensive skills, looking almost harmless at times. An opponent will even feel confident enough to launch at Matias with the flurry of power punches and clever defense breaks, as seen in how Jeremias Ponce came out to fight him. Matias then begins settling the score with a very unexpected punch, or counterpunch that is also usually the hardest punch within the fight. This stuns the opponent, leaving him open to a barrage of hard strikes that eventually make him quit. "I thought it was an even fight, but one punch can change everything, and that's what happened," said Ponce. "Subriel is a tough, strong fighter, and I knew what he was capable of." This really highlights how the deception is used to draw the opponent in to be destroyed. Shohjahon Ergashev, on the other hand, always puts up a dominant performance that leaves the opponent no room to think that he can be outsmarted. His imposing stature and heavy muscular physique, combined with the scowl on his face that features him looking directly into the eyes of opponents, is intimidating. This is already an advantageous factor for him. What makes him even scarier in a fight is how fast he is, something that's been honed from years upon years of training and his Central Asian diet. He explodes into action to overwhelm his opponents from round one. He also practices a rather wide stance and really leverages the squat when punching. This is what gives him extremely powerful punches, and he's able to put his whole weight into the punch without making it seem obvious in a way that's jarring to see. Compared to Matias, many have witnessed his ability to throw powerful jabs and crosses that are also deadly accurate going for critical points, such as the solar plexus and liver. It also undoubtedly helps him cut through defenses. When needed, he sacrifices accuracy so that he can mail a powerful punch to end the fight. The difference in the fight will be made by defensive skills and simply who wants the belt more. Which is why, on that note, we'll just leave you to see for yourself when they inevitably clash on the 4th of November. You can bet it's going to be an explosive fight. Are you excited to see the ring left devastated? Leave us a like and subscribe if you agree with our assessment of this showdown. We'll see you again when the dust settles on the canvas.